Our next speaker is Andrey Suvorov, Head of Critical Infrastructure Protection, Business Development, Kaspersky Lab. He is responsible for planning and implementing global strategy in Kaspersky's industrial cybersecurity, expanding company leadership with new solutions and expert services. Previously, Andrey worked in a multinational company focusing on business development and sales management with clients in Russia and CIS, managing long-term projects in the areas of infrastructure and business solutions. Andrey Suvorov holds an MBA diploma from Warwick Business School, UK, and an honor degree diploma in mathematics from KVIR-TU PVO. Please welcome Andrey onto the stage.
Okay. Good afternoon, colleagues. Let's start. Cybersecurity, especially industrial cybersecurity topic, is a subject of major popular Hollywood and Bollywood movies. We are not alone here, so we will start from short video. Let's start.
We are all heavily reliant on critical industrial infrastructure, power plants, water and transport networks, oil and gas industries. They serve our everyday needs, but we give little thought to how secure or resistant they are to malfunction. Over the last few years, however, cybersecurity of critical infrastructure has failed to keep pace with the increasing number of highly sophisticated cyber threats. This has left critical infrastructural objects with their modern computers and networks highly vulnerable to industrial infrastructure, power plants, water and transport networks, oil and gas industries. They serve our everyday needs, but we give little thought to how secure or resistant they are to malfunction. Over the last few years, however, cybersecurity of critical infrastructure has failed to keep pace with the increasing number of highly sophisticated cyber threats. This has left critical infrastructural objects with their modern computers and networks highly vulnerable to cyber attacks and cyber weapons. In 2010, the Stuxnet worm, an advanced persistent threat, put almost 20% of Iran's nuclear centrifuges out of action. And then, even worse, it went out of control and hit hordes of companies all over the world, including Chevron, one of the American energy corporations. It's important to understand you don't have to be a target to be a victim. Take the aging Conficker virus that no one worries about, or a simple crypto locker that encrypts your data and asks for money to restore it. Both can be extremely harmful in an industrial network where even the slightest interruption can incur huge losses, or cause a major blackout, or even end in disaster. As the Stuxnet and Black Energy attacks have shown, one infected USB drive or single spear phishing email is all it takes for attackers to bridge the air gap and penetrate an isolated network. Traditional security is no longer enough to protect industrial environments from cyber threats. So modern attack vectors go in around it. So it's using USBs, malicious files, social engineering, remote access for contractors, and many other means. So malware always finds the way in through these physical fences, through firewalls, to devices and computers inside our industrial control systems. So high fence is not the effective cyber defense anymore. Still, most of the cybersecurity audits reveal either missing or outdated antivirus among the top issues in the industrial network. So to be able to resist the actual cyber threats, every critical infrastructure needs to have the cybersecurity controls inside the perimeter, right on the vulnerable devices and computers being hurt or attacked. We used to ignore it, but we cannot afford it anymore. Kaspersky Industrial Cybersecurity is specifically designed to protect complex industrial environments that contain a diverse range of proprietary systems. It's a highly flexible security solution that can be tailored to each installation's unique needs.
Thank you, Rod. Let's continue my presentation. Dear colleagues, dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the backside of the Internet of Things. We call it as a professional company from the cybersecurity Internet of Threats. It's not yet right time for thrillers. It's just for PM. But I will share some information from the reality. Good news that we understand real challenges, especially with rapid transformation and a lot of remindings about innovations. Please be aware, be attentive about all presentation I will deliver. And I'm ready to discuss reality on your sides. We are here to present real technology process and how can we protect it. So let's start. I would like to show 3 main topics today. Number 1 is cybersecurity is not anymore a subject only for CSO of the company or IT director. It's definitely subject for members of the board. Number 2, I would like to share what is the main difference between cyber challenge in enterprise network and cyber challenge inside industrial control systems. And what is the typical behavior of attackers to make changes in technology process logic and to do some physical incidents. And finally, I would like to share last experience of Kaspersky Lab, and will present our approach, which includes Kaspersky Industrial Cybersecurity Software Solution. In general, we work as a company in the area which is better describing by statement of famous psychologist. You know that it's much better for all of us not to find money, for example, 100 rupees, but it's better to save it. So in case we will speak about the same value, 100 rupees, for every of us, it's better not to lose 100 rupees than to find it somewhere on street. So we are here to deliver information how do not to lose 100 million rupees from one physical incident. Let's go. I would like to share information from the last survey Marsh company made for participants of Davos Economic Forum. Usually, these participants are from establishment of the Coventry's, establishment and founders of the companies. And this year, they asked a couple of questions about what are main type of risks do you see for mankind, for your country, or for your company. You see here some results. In the right top quadrant, in the right part, you can see the highest risks they emphasized on. And there is only one technology type of risk with name cyber attack, which is even higher, by the way, than traditional terrorist attacks and, for example, problem of unemployment or interstate conflicts. So you see how people who joined International Davos Forum marked the level and importance of cyber attack challenge. Let's go further for the opinion of top managers. You can see here results of Allianz Risk Barometer, and they also ranked different type of risks which are most important for manage their businesses. And you can see here that today cyber threat is number 3. Only 3 years ago, this type of risk was even outside attention of the companies because it was number 13. Now it's much higher than natural catastrophes and legislation issue. Again, it's not a message from Kaspersky Lab. It's not a message from the companies who are specialized in cybersecurity. It was a voice of people who are trying to manage corporations. And if you are a member of the board, you should mitigate all type of modern risk. Otherwise, there is a probability to disappear from the market. So please keep in mind, and please share information with people who make business decisions that it really can harm and disrupt main operations in the company. So let's go to another page of my presentation. Let's have a short discussion, short explanation of what is about specific of the cyber attack if we deal with an industrial system. So we call it when digital meets physical. I'm sure that you have information about classical case we had in 2010 in Iran. I would like to mention by this slide only that traditional and modern cyber physical attack usually starts from typical digital parts. So it's either infection of computer or looking for some weakened points of your enterprise network. But there is a second specific part of such attack which is different from traditional virus and antivirus exercises. It's about penetration to the physical part, to about assessment of technology process and impact on some particular elements of your industrial control system. So in this case, it was real attempt to penetrate particular PLCs and to substitute particular blocks on the level of the memory of the PLC. Again, the price for such exercise is very high. Let's have a look on study Kaspersky Lab did for some industries. I'm sure the typical oil refinery plant has a similar technology domain, technology environment. It's about transportation, it's about transportation of crude oil from rail tank to some storage tank. And there is a technology process behind of it with some critical elements and with the real risks to create physical incidents. So with our analysts, we found that, and this is a real bad news, that even almost all typical technology processes are vulnerable. And clever guys can spend from 14 hours, it depends on qualification and skill, before they will get access to the industrial segment of the network and they make physical incident. And by the way, if you will find a time, you can go to our stand and our people can provide at least 6 or 7 real scenarios how it might happen in real life. Not by presentation, but in real scripts. And we have one person who can play a role of cyber attacker, and we can provide you information about real scenarios. Good news that nobody, even very clever attackers, can do physical incident in one step. It always requires some preparation, some assessment. You can see here figuring out of PLC devices, attempt to upload the project. So any customer will have at least 4 alerts from the real system about that something happened in your ICS environment. And if you have a proper installed system to protect this environment, you will 4 times see this alerting, and you will have time enough to react. This is about one industry. What's about different industries? We made another study. We call it CTF exercise, capture the flag. When we invited in October 2015 our customers, it was similar conference, and we invited so-called white hackers. So people who are legal, we can check them, that they have a work, they are clever, and we had a tournament between these white hacker teams. And you can see on this screen a real digital substation. So this substation was assembled by the company who was from operational technology and who do it for a different countries. So it's a real digital substation. You can see here the final stage of this tournament when people, mostly young generation, they don't need even money. They don't need even lunch. It's a game for them. Try to assess, try to understand what are the vulnerabilities inside, and try to provide some real destroy. And we had a 2 days conference and provide the task to find vulnerabilities. It was not a goal to make them right, to destroy, to make a physical incident. But the goal was to understand behavior in nature of the people who are trying to assess and who are trying to provide real cyber attack. And we were sitting on the backstage and monitor behavior, and we found a lot of interesting stuff and a couple of information we shared with the vendor. And the winner, as we called the winner, was, I just would like to ask one question. Based on your experience, how much time did the winner of this competition need to assess, investigate the real environment, try to find vulnerabilities, and try to destroy? Any guess? 4 hours. How much? 4 hours. 4 hours. Yeah. You are. Didn't you go in this event? No. It was in Russia. You're absolutely right. 3.5 hours. They make it like this. So again, it was a result of winner. So the first team took just 3 hours, but there were one person who had a real engineer background. So he had a knowledge about SCADA system, but the next 3 teams spent only 5 hours to do the similar attack with different approaches. So they cannot replicate and share information between each other. Again, depending on the industry, we have a different specific, but we see here that industrial objects are real vulnerable. And this is one of the last sound incident. It was in Ukraine in December 2015. Again, you can see here, typical industrial cyber attack includes digital part, but it's just beginning. And then it includes physical part. It was access to physical environment, and they switched off about 30 digital substations and made blackout for at least 6 hours. I just collected a couple of information. It's very fresh. It's not from 2010 when we had a Stuxnet. You can see here different trends. For example, I will not follow through this all exercises, but for example, it was the first ransom case in the May, 1 month ago, when they stopped operation of electricity company and asked for money. It's very interesting research, PLC Blaster. It's a professional research. It's available. We can share it. You can find it on the internet. When they prove that it's real, not a rocket science, to create malicious software which will be distributed between PLCs. So we had a lot of presentations today about Internet of Things. We understand that PLCs and other devices are smart, which means that they have software, they have a capability to do some operations. So currently, we have a backside of the medal. PLC Blaster means that there is a malicious software which can be distributed even without computers. We should be ready for this challenge. Last but not least, I would like to announce very fresh study we did today. During day, we have 2 different sessions for different parts of the world for our customers. And official study publication will be on July 11th. We will share this information. So we did study about availability of ICS from the internet. It's not surprise, but I think these figures are impressive. So you can see that 220,000 components are available from any internet user. You can try to find it. But what is more important, that multiple vulnerable ICS components are externally available on the elements inside corporations. And we found about 1.5 thousand large organizations which have a strong belief that their ICS systems are isolated, but it's not true. So our study includes a different information about geography, about components, about real vulnerabilities. And again, we will very soon publish this information. We made it based on real publicly available Shudan engine, if you know, but with some expertise from the side of Kaspersky lab. So, what's about good news? Good news that we have solution. We have, and we are not alone. We have, of course, some specific features, and we have an extended ecosystem with vendors and with some associations. And I would like to share information about approach of Kaspersky Lab, how we are going to help not to lose 100 rupees at minimum. So you see here that with the Kaspersky Industrial Cybersecurity, what is the name of our new solution? We launched it in 2016, in January. We are going to protect 3 levels of enterprise architecture, which means level 1 and 2. And for the rest, we have different solutions for corporate customers. And the main value, we are going to protect all 3 levels. We have a capability to protect PLC, providing protection from any possible intrusion into the level, to the PLC project. We have a component which we call Kicks for networks for passive monitoring of the network, and ICS endpoint elements. So it's not very clever and even dangerous to have protection only for the level of SCADA server or HMA panel, which we have in majority of cases. So people try to have antivirus component only for this element. It's very easy for attackers to understand the weakest point, which can be controller or industrial network, and try to kick in these points. In addition to traditional office and enterprise networks, with the ICS, we have a slightly different type of threat model and slightly different vulnerabilities. For example, we have a chance that someone will try to connect PLC directly, or will try to use connection through the industrial protocol. Some protocols do not support even authentication. What is more dangerous, and we saw it in Stuxnet and in different cases, the smart people who try to arrange and create a real targeted attack try to do it with a deferred effect. I will show one example. So with the same story, I started about oil and gas. For example, we have here buffer tank, which is about preliminary storage of the crude oil. And with a targeted attack, it's possible to change some parameters of the meter here and then to create incident. But the incident itself will happen not in the time of this attack of the connection when people try to change this parameter, but later. So with our system, we will fix this type of event in real time. So when the person will try to change this parameter, we will fix it in our monitor, not during the physical incident. We had a couple of good techniques about predictive maintenance of pumps or engines, but nobody cares if someone will harm your equipment by cyber attack. And we should understand it in advance, in the time when this attack will happen. Otherwise, you will change these pumps 1 time per day. It depends only on creativity of cyber attackers. Again, cyber risk and cyber attacks should be the same topic of agenda as an enterprise asset management, for example. And we have a good understanding of market players. For example, we have an official announcement of alliance with SAP to provide them information we can collect on industrial network and to provide this information to the upper level. So SAP will include this information for business scenarios which will update real schedule of maintenance of very expensive equipment. This is one of the ways to look on industrial cybersecurity with a new reality. So I have 4 minutes to go. I would recommend, if you are worried about modern type of risks, if your board members will ask you about how can we proceed, we have some recommendation about steps. First of all, we have an approach to present cybersecurity landscape in industrial domain with a special type of model. It's physical model. You can see one of the model in the special demo area. And we can present real scenarios of cyber attackers. Then we have a set of special industrial security trainings, cybersecurity trainings. Again, we still have a gap in the organization. We have very experienced operational technology staff who do not worry about cybersecurity. And we have cybersecurity people who do not worry about specific of technology process. These training products are about combination. How can we harm real technology process by cyber attack? We have an approach to provide cybersecurity assessment. It's a special part of service engagement, but I think it's a definitely win-win situation when we use our experts to provide real examination of your environment, to build threat model, and to prioritize vulnerabilities of your existing environment. You don't need even on this stage any new software, but you can get a lot of value from understanding of your real weakest point. And these guys who are providing this information can play both feet. I mean, they have a very good knowledge in cybersecurity area, and they can dive into the technology process details. And the fourth stage can be piloting of our solution. So we are not going to sell licenses, we are going to prove the value. So since we will provide you information about real vulnerability, then we are ready to provide you some pilots when we will deliver information how we are going to detect and how we are going to prevent different type of possible cyber attacks. One of the case I would like to share with you, it's an official reference with the kicks with our new solution. Taneka, it's not from Japan, it's from Russia, but the word sounds as a Japanese. It's an oil refinery plant. They're very proud that they started operation in 2005, so it's a very new industrial customer. They had the chance to buy and to select very modern hardware, so they have no inheritance from 60s and 70s. But even here, we found the real serious vulnerabilities, and we did, it's an ongoing project, we did 2 stages, and you can see first results. I would say that in case of the solution we are going to present, customers will get some glasses to detect, to manage events which are invisible currently. Again, based on reality, there are a lot of events which we can detect as a cybersecurity company, but nobody can do it. 4:30, thank you very much. We are here for all 2 days. I am proud to be a part of this very professional audience. Thank you.